Okay, good evening once again to the Board of Selectmen meeting on December 4th. We had just done the Pledge of Allegiance. No additional agenda or consent calendar items that I'm aware.
There is none.
Any delegations this evening? Anyone like to speak to the board under public delegations? No?
Right answer.
First item is the approval of minutes of the special meeting of November 20th, 2013.
I'll move to approve the minutes of the special meeting of November 20th, 2013 as submitted.
Motion is made. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone oppose or abstain?
Abstain.
Ms. Hardy abstains. We're 5-0-1. Next item, approval of minutes of the regular meeting of November 20th, 2013.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. Any discussion on this item? Hearing none. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstain?
Abstain.
Ms. Hardy abstains. Consent calendar?
I move to approve the consent calendar in the amount of $460.04 for the meeting of December 4th, 2013.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. Is there discussion on this item? Hearing none. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Next item on the agenda is a presentation by Aquaponics of Edenworks, and I'm not sure that they're here, are they?
They are not.
They are not here, so there must be some mix-up perhaps in the time or delay in traffic or something. So why don't we move forward, and if he or she comes in to make that presentation, then we will go from there. How's that?
Great.
The next item is the discussion action of ex officio reports. We put copies of the, of all of the current boards and commissions. This includes both elective and appointees. See the copy of it like this. We can go through it. This is gonna be a 3-week process. A lot of these things expire in January. So, I just wanted to give you a copy of it so you kind of take a look if you knew anybody on the list. One, ask if they're gonna re-up, if they're interested, if you know anybody that is potentially interested in some vacancy that may occur, bring their name forward, and we'll go from there, bearing in mind that there are minority representation rules that apply. We did, what? I should be on ex officio? Did I miss something?
Oh, yeah, sorry, chief.
Well, it's sort of kind
Discussion,
of.
action, ex officio.
Ex officio
Oh,
assignments.
yeah, I'm sorry. Where am I looking at? Appointments, boards, and commissions.
Commission,
Okay.
yeah.
Way down below.
All right, that's my mistake. You're right. Anyway, let's just continue with that conversation. So that we have that there, and
We need to get to a bunch of these people and make sure what they're doing and what their intentions are,
Yeah.
correct?
Yes,
Yeah.
yep, that's it. And Roseanne usually pulls together part of it.
We'll make
and-
some phone calls
yeah.
and see what we can get put
Yeah.
together.
Yeah,
All
you
right?
just give everybody the first shot at doing it again, and then
Mhm.
new people coming in, and we already have our compiling lists of people that are interested. So, I don't know, did you want to discuss anything else on that, Roseanne, while we're?
I've begun making several calls, and I've been calling Democrats. I'm happy to divide up and call some of the unaffiliated if somebody else would like to assist, or I'll do it as far as I get.
Yeah, no, I'm sure we'll get somebody. Anybody want to volunteer? If not, I mean, I certainly have done some of that. I can
I
do
know,
that.
I'll
Kevin?
definitely take, especially the ones I'm ex officio to, I'll be glad to check
Okay.
into those and any others.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. What day is today? Did planning take care of
Today's
that
fourth.
last night?
Yes, I have a report on that for
You
ex
do?
officio.
Okay, all right. All right, so that'll be an act in progress there. And I apologize for misreading the agenda here. We should have been discussion action ex officio assignments. I do have the ex officio list. It is, I believe, the exact same as it was last time. Mr. Nickerson, Park and Rec, Water and Sewer, the Deputy Chair and Youth Services, Ms. Cheeseman, Zoning and Library, Mr. Siri, Wetlands, Building and Harbor Management, Ms. Hardy, Planning, Commission on Aging, Natural Resources, Mr. Wilson, Smith Harris, Wellsco, and the Safety Committee member. And then the rotation for the Board of Ed, I don't believe these have changed. January and July for Ms. Cheeseman, is that the same? March and September for Ms. Hardy, April and October for Mr. Siri, May and November for Mr. Nickerson, and June and December for Mr. Wilson. And then I have February and August, so. Okay,
Will we
Great.
get copies of that? Do we have
Sure.
that in our packet, Tony? Okay.
Yeah,
We can get copies.
Could we just get another one? Yeah, I don't know where
That'd
it
be a good
goes.
idea.
yep,
First
Probably
off,
got 14 of them, but I don't know.
Thank you.
okay. All right, thank you all very
Perfect.
much. Next item is the appointment of the part-time constable. As you know, this is a 6-month appointment and has to be done for a January 1 and a July 1 term.
I move to appoint Paul Holmes as a part-time officer for a period of 6 months beginning January 1st, 2014.
Second?
Motion is made and second. Any discussion on this item? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Paul, just for future reference too, since Paul is a law enforcement officer, his home address is supposed to not be in any, it's one of those people that are not supposed to have their addresses. in
Oh,
any
redacted from the thing.
Redacted.
Okay, yeah.
Police officers are.
That's a state statute that was just recently passed.
I'll erase it from my memory.
See if I have that black.
I never saw that.
That black.
I never saw that.
All right. Next item, authorize first selectman to sign the check register. This has to be done at the beginning of each term.
I move the following resolution. Resolved that the Board of Selectmen delegates to the First Selectman, and upon the absence or disability of the First Selectman, to the Deputy First Selectman, the Board's obligation to sign the orders of the Board of Selectmen on the town treasury for payment of regularly budgeted expenses of the town, with the exception of those of a capital nature over $50,000 where bids are required, and further that the signed orders covering the period subsequent to the previous regular meeting of the board be presented at each regular meeting of the board for review.
Second?
The resolution has been made and seconded. Is there a discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Next item is the appoint the deputy first selectman.
Move to appoint Mark, are you L. Nickerson?
That'll be C.
C. Nickerson.
Thank you.
To serve as Deputy First Selectman of the Town of East Lyme, to serve through December 7th, 2015.
Thanks.
Motion is made. Is there a second?
Second.
Second. Any discussion on this item? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We did the appointments of boards and commissions. So the next item, we'll skip to the end.
You gotta move the
do we-
following, you gotta go the next one down.
There's another
In
one
the
there.
absence of the First Selectman who's Deputy, the First Selectman may delegate.
Do we have to make that resolution? We did this, Darlene and I talked about this, and we did this last time because at one point in a week in the year, there was both Mark and I were gone, so we did do this, but I wasn't sure if we needed to have this now, or whether we could do it, should there be a need.
Why don't we just do it?
Wanna
and
do it
you know
now?
what?
Okay.
And you know what? All you need to do is let
So
her
that's-
know and it'll be done deal. You don't need to get everybody together to try to get it done again.
That's not on this agenda.
Oh,
It's
But
Just
2D,
follow on
2D,
with-
it's all the same thing.
Okay, so how do you want to handle it, guys?
Just move the
Who
following.
is- Who is the person? Who was the person?
We didn't do this last time. We didn't do it the last couple of times.
No,
We did it,
We did it because there was a,
In an emergency, we
Right.
did it.
Right.
Roseanne was the emergency backup. Roseanne, you were the emergency backup.
Right.
I was, and you noticed that there were no emergencies.
We
So-
made sure of it.
But in previous administrations, we have had Even though it's not provided in the charter, we have had a third or second deputy, so to speak, that could fill in. So I think, you know, past practice, it's been done, let's just do it. Then that person is available.
Okay. So, Kevin?
Okay. I'll resolve that in the absence of the first selectman and his deputy, the first selectman may delegate the obligation to sign the orders of the Board of Selectmen to Kevin
Roseanne
Siri
Hardy.
for payment of the expenses of the town.
Motion is made. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. Any discussion on
I'm
this item?
confused.
Hmm?
I thought we were talking about Roseanne.
That's fine.
Oh.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's beyond me, but whatever.
Okay.
Sorry.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries, all right. All right, I'm sorry about that. Is there any other items related to that I missed?
No.
No,
Okay.
and we've done boards
So-
and commissions.
All right, so now we're doing discussion action, the Connecticut State Emergency Services and Public Protection Division of Emergency Management Homeland Security regarding that MOU that we need for the mobile communications vehicle. Did everyone have an opportunity to see the vehicle outside?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, okay. So, Mr. Morris is here to discuss this, but this is quite an asset that would be housed here in the town of East Lyme. You have the MOU in front of you. Mr. Morris will go over any of the fine print. There are some obligations to the town regarding this, but I did run this by Mr. O'Connell yesterday, and he has approved it as to form. And Mr. Morris is here for any discussion, so I don't know how you would like to proceed on this.
I'd love to have Dick just give a description of the resources and the capabilities of what this asset would provide to us.
This vehicle, there's 6 of them in the state of Connecticut. Each region's going to get one, with the 6 being stored at Brainerd Airfield. They are being deployed for large events, natural disasters, and man-made issues that could arise from large events. They can take the place of a PSAP 911 center with radio communications, or to bring additional radio assets if you were using a large-scale incident and had multiple different towns, regions being utilized at the same period. They can patch all those radio frequencies together to get back to a unified command system and enable, let's say, Hartford to talk to Niantic if needed to be. That type of application is within the means of those vehicles.
Further comments?
Yeah, so looking at the MOU, Dick, I see that there's a list of obligations, responsibilities for the town of East Lyme, including to provide for appropriate training
That's
for the
correct.
personnel.
That's
How
correct.
is that going to take place?
Well, 2 of the gentlemen that you met tonight will lead that with another person by the name of Mike Varney, who is the coordinator of those vehicles. Most of us, the other 2 town residents that you saw out there, Wayne Grunland, Bill Covey, myself, and there's about 20 others that are semi-trained in the vehicle already. We will meet the obligation of the training level that they need to sign the vehicle over within the next few weeks, and the vehicle will be assigned to the community and have a checklist that needs to be followed on a weekly and monthly basis that we will then report back to Hartford and say what we've done. The training is going to consist of how to patch the radios, how to patch the computers, the satellite phones usage, the copy machines, the camera, the night vision, and so forth. So we all know how to do that. It would be deployed with probably 3 to 4 people for each tour of work period. And if like the Brooklyn Fair, we went and hosted the truck there and we worked 8-hour shifts for that entire event. Something like the Woodstock Fair, we found that a large event like that, they would use probably 3 to 4 trucks. But we would still, our group would still meet that obligation and staff our vehicle.
And they will come down here to
This
train you
vehicle-
on, this
that's
vehicle
correct.
stays here and they will come
Right.
down here and train you
Right.
here?
We hope to, and I will talk to the superintendent, but I hope to be able to, the 2 days or 3 days that we train on the vehicle, that we do it at the new Mike Ginsani building, where we can have the vehicle inside and also use the classroom.
Okay, and so the vehicle is responsible for covering us, or you say there's 6 in the state, including one at Brainerd. So we have a responsibility area, and then you get the request from the state or
That's
local?
correct.
Okay, we need you at X.
Right. It needs to be, in order for the vehicle to move, it has to go through the Deputy Commissioner of Homeland Security, through the Governor's office, in order for it to be deployed. Those orders come pretty quickly, and it could go as far as up to Worcester and as far down as New Haven.
So when a request comes in for its use, do we get reimbursed for the cruise time from
No,
the
it's
state?
all, those guys are all volunteer in order to be on that vehicle.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I see also the other obligation, and this is probably not directed at you, to carry sufficient insurance. So we've looked into that. We've got the appropriate coverage.
Yes, we verify that with Kerma.
Right, okay, okay, thank you.
Dick, what's the bottom line cost on this to the town? What do you think your budget's
Yeah.
gonna go up, having this in our town?
Couple quarts of oil, that's essentially all our obligation is. The light bulb's out, something like that, that will be done. They're going to change the vehicle oil, the generator oil, that's under their obligation to do it. If we had a headlight that went out, we'd be responsible for doing that.
Training costs?
Training costs is all provided by Demus,
Yeah.
and they'll come here and do that.
Okay.
We take a lot of those courses now, they're all reimbursable as we take them,
That vehicle, thank you. That vehicle is super technical.
yes.
Everything in there's got a flashing lights, and it looks like you're on a
Each
set of
one,
Star Trek or something.
I don't know if they told you, but each one of those radios that are in those banks have 250 channels.
Incredible,
Yeah.
incredible. Top of the line technology. If anything, when things break in there, because it's all computers,
Yeah,
who's fixing that?
they are, state is,
Because it's a major item. It's not a
Right.
light bulb.
right.
It's a major component.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I guess that's it.
It's quite a
Yeah.
process to have that here. It was a 2-year bid process.
Great.
Some towns were really interested in receiving it, and one town is pretty upset they didn't receive
Yeah.
it.
So it's all volunteers running. It's a crew that
Yeah,
the state is training.
yep,
It's a crew that it's all volunteers. It's not taking away from our town resources, our crews.
no.
These are guys that are going to be kind of assigned to
These,
that truck.
the
And,
guys that use this type of vehicle are into computers, they're
Yeah.
into ham radio type application and multi-patching radios. A lot of dispatchers get involved. Matter of fact, there's
Right.
one guy from Valley Shore that couldn't make it tonight because he couldn't get anybody to work for him.
okay.
But he's a real interested person in being involved in that truck. I mean,
Okay.
he's living for the day that he gets to go run it, so.
So,
All right.
sorry, one more question. Apart from natural disasters, which obviously one cannot foresee, do you have any read on how often per year this is going to be, you're going to be asked to deploy it?
Maybe 10 to a dozen times.
Okay.
Some of the, like the Brooklyn Fair, the Woodstock Fair, those types of events.
Celebrating Slam.
Celebrate East
Mhm.
Lyme, we used it. If we had it here, we'd probably had it set up for the light parade on Saturday, and certainly for the stroll during that day and so forth. It would be used for those types of events.
And maybe op sale in New London if they did another?
Oh, we brought them to op
Yeah,
sale.
okay, okay, thank you.
Is the driver of the vehicle required to have a CDL license?
Yes. Yeah. And that's one of the big problems with this truck. You saw how high it is. It's
Yes.
14 feet. And one of the major concerns is the secondary roads with the low-hanging trees, because they could hit those cameras pretty easily. And that's what they're afraid of, and that's why they've waited so long for the MOU, so they can make sure that the people that are going to get the vehicle can understand how to drive the vehicle, and to make sure that their observations of their overhead is continuous.
I didn't happen to notice, because it was after dark, there are cameras mounted on the outside,
On the roof.
on the roof?
Yeah, they were up when the TVs that you saw, one of
Yes.
them had a night vision that was pointed down to the end of the street.
I did see that. I
Yeah.
didn't realize that the camera itself was
Yeah,
outside.
that was up about 24 feet.
Well, thank you, Mr. Morris, for your continued efforts to get grants for us and to bring equipment such as this into the town. Of course, it's all taxpayers' money, but it's much better when it isn't just our taxpayer money.
Thank
So
you.
thank you very much for your efforts.
Thank you.
Dick, we're gonna house this in a secure, heated and insured garage. Is that going to Roxbury Road?
That's correct.
All right. So we do provide the fuel for it
That's correct.
out of our normal deal.
It's a diesel.
Yeah, I mean, we're just gonna fill it up from the pump, right?
Yeah.
No. And, all the people, you talked about the guy from Valley Shores, so they talk about all the personnel or agents of the town operating the vehicle or whatever. How do we deal with, is there some like pact or organization that everybody is connected
Well,
to
the
be involved in it? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, most of them are all on the IMT team. So when they, same as what we do with CERT, when we go for deployment, we fill out a form, they sign off on it that it's going into deployment, and they authorize it. You're under that Public Act 38
Yeah,
in
so-
order to do
But,
that.
I mean, all of these people would have already been involved in the training and already on the roster and all of those things, correct?
That's
I mean,
correct.
there's nobody walking in to just saying, well,
No.
I'm gonna be
No.
going off with this thing.
Nope.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, as a follow-up to Mr. Wilson's question, or comment, you asked about heated storage. I thought that the town garage was cold storage, except for the people that were,
Do we have a temperature requirement? Doesn't say in the
No,
MOU.
it doesn't say a temperature. It just has to be in a room.
enclosed area.
And that is in the enclosed room, the old maintenance garage that's there. It's not in the big
I see.
open space, it's in the more confined area. And the reason being is because it required a 14-foot door.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Now, we have to ensure trained operators. You talked about that being on the team. We did talk about the sufficient insurance, naming the state as an additional insured, and then to deploy and operate when deployment is requested. Contact information,
Yes,
assuming that you will be responsible for all of those events,
that's correct.
and then only use it for emergency planned events, education and outreach. And the only other requirement would be to regularly test, use, and maintain in accordance with the training received. So you'll handle all of that,
Correct,
and along with your team of volunteers.
correct.
Okay.
And so after we sign this this evening, is the vehicle delivered, or is it in some other location?
They just took it back to Brainerd Field, and once this is signed, I will notify Mr. Gustafson, and he will set the train in, and he hopes to have it done in another week or so we can put that into action.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'm good.
Any other questions or comments? Mr.
Well,
Surd?
I just can't think of not wanting to do this. And Rob, going back to your days in public safety, the one problem you always have in an incident is communications. This is gonna do so much to at least address that concern. And here again, it has been utilized in the town for celebrating Lyme Day. And, you know, talking about Wayne Gronlund and Bill Covey, these are two people who have lived in town for a long time, have been countless hours of volunteer times in the ham radio. They probably know more about that than most people will ever forget, you know. They'll forget more about it than most people will ever know about it. So this is just a great opportunity to have a resource like that close at hand if we ever need it.
I'll make a motion. I'll move to authorize the first selectman to enter into a memorandum of understanding with the Connecticut Emergency Services and Public Protection Division of Emergency Management and Homeland Security for a mobile communications vehicle.
Second.
Made and seconded, discussion. I have an authorizing resolution for the Board of Selectmen. This has to be read separately? Or is this included as part of this? This is a,
That's included as part of that packet because you already voted and adopted that resolution.
okay,
That's
so
just-
as a new board, I would suggest that after this motion is made and voted on, that we vote on this resolution, because the resolution that we had in place was from the previous board, even though we're all the same people. That makes sense to everybody?
Sure.
Okay.
Want me to read that?
Yeah, if you want
But
to
let's
After the
act
next.
on this.
If it makes sense to you, let's go with it.
Okay. Is there
So
any?
have we voted on this one?
Not yet.
Yeah,
No, I
okay.
was
Are
gonna
we
say, is
gonna-
there any more discussion on the original motion here? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Then this resolution is the same resolution that applied to the equipment that we talked about with the trailer, et cetera, from the last.
That's a November resolution that you
Yeah.
voted and
So,
passed.
Roseanne, what do you think? Do you think we need to do it again because we're in a new term, or do you think that that resolution applies?
I think it applies.
You think it applies?
I would think about it.
Same people, we all agreed to it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, why don't we just say that then, and we're all in consensus that we have it done?
That we're reapplying
Yeah.
the resolution from November to apply to
It's still in,
this
still
new
in,
vehicle.
still in force, okay.
Indeed.
This is from November, it says a meeting held on February sixth, 2013.
No,
Yeah.
well, that's, oh,
So you might
Yes.
want to read it again. I think
All right, let's read it again, let's just.
Read from from here on?
might,
This is I,
might be a
Leslie.
mistake.
Resolved, yeah.
So, here's a resolution. Resolved that the town of East Lyme may enter into, with, and deliver to the State of Connecticut Department of Emergency Services and Public Protection, Division of Emergency Management and Homeland Security, any and all documents which it deems to be necessary or appropriate, and further resolved that Paul M. Formica, as first selectman of the town of East Lyme, is authorized and directed to execute and deliver any and all documents on behalf of the town of East Lyme, and to do and perform all acts and things which he deems to be necessary or appropriate to carry out the terms of such documents. The undersigned further certifies that Paul M. Formica now holds the office of first selectman, and he has held that office since December 3rd, 2007.
Okay.
I guess that's my
The
resolution.
resolution has been made, is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you for that. Thank you, Mr. Morris.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is the continued discussion of the police subcommittee. Mr. San Juan was here.
He's
but,
on he's on the phone.
uh,
Joe,
This, as you know, came out of a conversation with Sergeant San Juan, who was our admin sergeant at TD, about developing some kind of liaison to the Board of Selectmen. You asked me to look into it, into what other towns was doing. There are a variety of different committees that other towns do and hold, from authorized commissions that hire and fire and oversee versus committees, like this one. So what I thought I'd do is kind of give an overview of what Sergeant San Juan and I discussed at a meeting with Sergeant Blanchette. And really, it has to do with recommendations from both sides, from the Board of Selectmen and from the PD. It has to do really non-binding decisions, more of a liaison and communication effort of the committee.